The following podcast is a Dear Media production.
Today, I feel so lucky to have Lisa Levitt Gainsley as our guest. She is a certified lymphedema therapist and the author of The Book of Lymph. She has also really helped me when Oliver was a newborn and I had a clogged milk duct. It was extremely helpful, and thank you so much for being here.
I'm so excited to be here, and I'm so happy for you for this amazing podcast. Thanks for having me, and you look beautiful and radiant, and it's nice to see you in person.
Same. I mean, you look stunning. I already told you that. I'm just a big fan, and I feel like lymphatic drainage has been getting a lot more traction in the last
Finally.
Exactly. And I wanted to know if you could kind of tell us a little, like, I think it's getting a lot more out there, but I think people still don't totally get it. And I wanted to know if you could explain a little bit.
Yes, in 20 minutes or less. I'll try to be quick about it.
No.
So I've been doing this work for 30 years. Long time. So I've been waiting a long time for this moment. And I think part of what's been going on lately is people are seeing results in their bodies and they're getting glowing skin. They're seeing inches shrink. But what people might not realize, it's lymphatic drainage really works with your immune system. Your immune system, and it helps regulate the fluid balance of your body, and it helps accelerate the release of toxins. So people are really starting to, I sort of describe it as like the triple threat. Right? You can have glowing skin, shed some water weight, and boost your immune system. It's also great for cancer patients, like we were talking about, women who are breastfeeding. It really can help almost everybody. So I forgot your question. You have to ask your question all over again.
No, you answered the question.
Okay.
It was just, I wanted kind of a brief overview
of
over
what is the lymph system.
The lymph system, because
Okay,
I think that people hear
don't
about.
Know.
Yeah, people
Nobody
don't know.
People still don't know, even though they're like, oh, I want that. I don't even know what it is. Basically, we're used to getting a muscle massage. When you think of massage, you think of Swedish massage, you're working the muscle bed. With lymphatic massage, you're working the fluid layer of your body that helps move out bacteria, viruses, toxins through the lymph vessels that work similar to the bloodstream. Your lymph vasculature is actually twice as vast as the bloodstream, and it moves that fluid full of waste to the areas in your body where you have lymph nodes. And I think there's been a lot of attention in the last few years on the immune system and your lymph nodes and the immune cells, because it's in those lymph nodes that your body does the work of filtering out the waste, and then that fluid returns back to the bloodstream. It's like the recycling system of the body. And the last few years, we've all been wanting to know, how can we improve our immune system? So giving yourself a lymphatic massage is going to help accelerate the release of toxins, keep you healthier. And if we're not walking around all stagnant and full of excess fluid, then we're going to be healthier and we're going to look more glowing for sure.
Which I think almost everyone would say that they're after.
Right?
All of those things.
Yes.
Yeah.
Give me all of it.
Yes, please, actually. So can stuff like a foam rolling or like those, I'm kind of into those. I don't know. I wanted to know about the legging, because I'm really into the compression leggings.
Which ones?
They're elastic.
Elastic. I love elastic. I love that we're talking about elastic. Okay. So yeah, I love that. And I love on some of your podcasts, you're like myth. You're like, yes to this, no to that. Yes to this, no to that. I love that. So yes to elastic athletic leggings. Compression is different for different people. So we have to understand, what grade of compression are you talking about? For somebody like you and me, elastic athletic is great. They have those little beads in them that help move your lymph system, right? They're targeted and they're great. If somebody has had cancer and they've had lymph nodes removed, they need a different medical grade compression stocking or sleeve. You've seen people in the airport walking around with compression sleeves. So there's a difference in compression for sure, but I'm a big fan of that. Foam rolling is like maybe, it depends. It's not necessarily, it can be too hard on your lymph system. So I don't ever really say foam rolling yes all the time, because if somebody has a compromised lymphatic system, it can be too hard for them, because your lymph vessels rest just underneath the surface of the skin. So when you're massaging yourself, that's why it's a gentler massage than a deep tissue. It's more of a horizontal plane. So we want to stay in that gentle rhythmic fluid layer. And if someone ever has a compromised system, foam rolling can be too too hard on them, and it can cause bruising. So it just depends.
I'm really glad you mentioned that because that was going to be my next question. Can you overdo it?
Yes, that's why I get the people who deep tissue or sometimes the machines are too hard for them and they bruise because the lymph vessels, lymph capillaries collect the fluid, then it moves into the lymph vessels that move segment by segment like a caterpillar, moving the fluid to a lymph node. So they open and close and they can spasm. If a massage is too hard or an extreme temperature changes, they can spasm and not move that lymph fluid. So not everyone will have that reaction, but I definitely see the people who are sensitive and can't handle that.
You know, I think that piece is really important because I do see people with the vibrating rolly balls and the whole thing.
Right.
Which I guess could be too much for some people.
It can be. Yeah. And there's a big part of lymphatic contouring massage now that you see on Instagram that do a lot of the machines, which sometimes can be good and sometimes not. So you have to know yourself and you have to know your body and what it can handle. When to see somebody who does a machine. And listen, hands are the gold standard, so I would start there. Or if you do a machine and it doesn't work for you, then you know.
Perfect. So I see it a lot of times mixed in with people making claims about like cellulite and bloating.
I just did a post on cellulite and bloating.
Let's discuss.
Did a post on cellulite today. So cellulite is a time when you can work a little deeper, right? Because that fat accumulation closer to the surface of the skin, you can work a little deeper in there. And with bloating, listen, your lymph system regulates the fluid balance of your body. The lacteals, which are the lymph vessels that line the small intestine, that gut, that absorb excess fat in the gut and increases the metabolism. These can all be great to help reduce bloating and increase the digestive system in the stomach. So giving yourself a stomach massage can be super beneficial. Just learn how to, just know who you're learning from. If you're, scrolling online, not everybody knows exactly what they're doing. It's like the wild, wild west out there now. So just check someone's credentials when you're learning from someone.
I'm glad you mentioned that because I do feel that way just in general.
Yeah.
But is there anything specific if someone was feeling a lot of bloating that they could do?
Yes.
Something like easy?
Yes. I just posted because it was the holidays.
We'll link it. We'll link it in the episode description, but please.
Perfect. I just did a stomach massage. If you are feeling bloated, I really recommend giving yourself a stomach massage at night before you go to bed. It will help calm the nervous system, bring you into the parasympathetic rest and digest state, help you get to sleep, stay asleep, and set your digestion up for the morning. So you go up the right side, across to the left side of the stomach, down towards the left hip, and just moving in circles, overlapping circles all along the stomach, massaging through the colon, massaging around the navel, just to really increase the automotoricity, the peristalsis of the digestive organs that need that movement in order to absorb and secrete and do their function.
I love that. Are we doing oil? Does it matter?
So typically with true manual lymphatic drainage, the Fodder method, you don't use a lot of oil and lotion. The reason is because when you're giving yourself a massage, you really want a little bit of traction on the skin. Just a little bit traction. If you have too much oil, you're just gliding. But in the stomach, you really can do some, oil or lotion. I really tend to not do a lot of it. I just use the natural oil of my skin. However, in the mornings when I am putting on my face oil, I will do a DIY lymphatic facial.
I love it. Do you do a gua sha at all or is it just your fingers?
See, I'm such a purist with hands. I rarely do gua sha. Again, you can go a little too deep with that gua sha stone. And what I love about using my hands is I can feel the fluid layer. I mean, listen, I'm trained to feel that fluid layer, but when you're working with your hands, you can feel that fluid layer. You could feel when you're getting a change in the pressure and the tissue quality, and you know when to move on, or you know where to stay a little bit longer and linger to really increase that fluid movement. So I'm a hands person more than a tool person.
Yeah. I mean, you have magical. I've had the benefit of having your hands, your healing hands on me, and I can absolutely attest to that. And I do think that there's something nice about having intuitive, that intuition with your hands on your own body.
Yes, and touch. Like, we're not used to touching ourselves. We farm that out. And what I really want to empower people to do is take that touch for themselves and get to know your body. You know, touch is used in healing in almost every culture. And we're just not used to doing that on ourselves. And you really get that feedback. Like, get to know your breasts, what they feel like, not just when you're looking for something scary, but what are the changes in your breasts on a monthly basis? What are the changes in your congestion after you've had a cold in your face or your sinuses? Like, get to know your body, and it's soothing. It's so much, I think it's more soothing than a cold stone, personally.
I think the message of that is so important too, because, and that's really the theme. It's a huge theme of our show, which is like getting to know yourself really well.
Yes.
The more you know about yourself really well, you can just move through the day-to-day stuff a lot easier. You mentioned something though about, I think you kind of touched on sleep. Was there anything in terms of just like you got into bed, you want to kind of reset before you go to sleep? Is there anything in terms of like lymph stuff that could help?
So I have actually a free meditation that I've given out to some of my newsletter subscribers where I walk you through a guided lymphatic meditation.
Amazing.
And I do want to, there's so many things I want to touch on. With sleep, it is so important to get proper sleep. I'm sure you talk about it all the time, but what they found only a decade ago is that you have a lymphatic system in the brain that works with the glial cells, and they coined it the lymphatic system. And it works with your cerebral spinal fluid when you sleep to clear out the amyloid plaque, to clear out that waste in the brain, which is indicated in the neurodegenerative diseases, MS, Parkinson's, Alzheimer's. So getting proper sleep, you are improving not only your lymphatic system, but you're also helping clear out the amyloid plaque. So I love setting people up, have a cup of tea, spearmint tea, mint tea, chamomile tea, get a book, get in bed, massage your stomach, do a meditation, and set yourself up for a good sleep. I like to get into bed early, not too late, so that your circadian rhythm can really help you have a good sleep.
That sounds so yummy. I really believe in that. And it is also really hard. And I think also like I would imagine a lot of our listeners are new moms, and there are people, there are just seasons of your life where I feel like you're grinding and you're just literally not going to get as many hours as you need. But I do think that maximizing, say you're not able to get into bed super early. And say you're not able to do, set yourself up for the 8 hours. I do think there is something to be said for being really efficient with the sleep that you are getting. So making the sleep that you are getting super restful.
Totally. And I think also it's really important. So many people have a hard time shutting the brain off, right? Our brains just keep going. And I think it's really important to have a journal next to your bed. Write those thoughts down. Whatever thoughts that are racing through you, just write them down, get it out, and then do your massage to really help set yourself up. I also love visualization. I'm a big creative visualization person. If you want to think of a vacation, think of something delicious you want to do or cook. Getting your head out of what you've been doing during the day and into a different state of mind, I think is also helpful.
I'm glad that you mentioned it that way, because I think that a lot of people at the end of the day want something to kind of take them out of the stressors of the day to day. If someone were to be, whether they're sitting on their couch at the end of the day or even like at their desk at work in the middle of the day and need kind of an escape, is there anything that someone could do lymph-wise to just kind of reset?
Yes. So my favorite thing to do is to teach people how to massage their lymph nodes. So the main clusters of your lymph nodes are located in the neck. There's a ton in the face, behind the ears, the armpit, the axillary nodes in the armpit, along the sternum line, the stomach, top of the thigh, a little behind the elbow, a little behind the knee. But I love teaching people how to massage these general areas, because what happens is your body the lymph system has a vacuum, creates a vacuum effect. So when you're working one area, it will systemically work other areas of your body. So understanding that when you do a lymphatic massage, you're working lighter, just underneath the surface of your skin, not as low, not as deep as the muscle bed, and you're working towards the pattern of drainage. So when you massage your neck, are we doing a lymph massage now?
Yeah,
Is this
I'm
the
watching
portion?
now.
Is this the portion?
This is
so
the portion.
the lymph nodes, the supraclavicular lymph nodes are above the collarbone. So it's just a gentle, like a C stroke. I always like to think of it like a crescent moon. You're just going down. You can swallow and yawn. You could stretch your neck from one side to the other, roll your shoulders back and down. I've got headphones on, but I love doing a little massage on your neck, using the pads of your fingers, bringing it down. You can also massage the face. So the pattern of drainage from the chin to the ears, cheek to the ears, forehead to the temples. And you can follow that up with little half crescent moons or rainbow circles, half circles all along the face. I love doing that. Little brief shampoo of your hair. That's going to help with the lymphatic system in the brain. And massaging the armpit. So you can take your hand into the armpit, the axillary nodes there that takes that fluid from the breast that we talked about. If you have a clogged milk duct, even I recommend if you're breastfeeding, feed, then do it.
Oh.
So first feed, then pump, because you are moving toxins. So first feed, then pump the armpit straight into that armpit. And for anxiety, I love recommending you place one hand directly on your middle of your chest, and you're going to do some deep breathing in and out as you just make some half circles here. The other thing that's really easy to do is deep diaphragmatic breathing. One hand on your abdomen, one hand on your chest. When you inhale, expand your stomach. And when you exhale, let your stomach relax. Inhale and expand the stomach. Exhale and relax. That works the largest lymph vessel in the body, the thoracic duct, that takes the fluid from the lower half of the body back up. And if you do your armpit, don't forget to do the other one. I often massage my armpit like in the car. If I'm just in the car, sometimes at work. I mean, not when I'm working on a client, but if you're talking about at your desk,
right?
Oftentimes I'll just pump my armpit.
Incredible.
Yeah.
I think that those are all really easy things that you could literally incorporate today if you wanted to. I'm definitely going to. Before I let you go, though, we always ask the guests two questions, and it's just honestly just an inside peek at you, because these are obviously all ways that you help other people. But I'm always interested in what is something right now that is really grounding you. It could be a practice or a person or truly anything.
You know, what is really grounding me is my kids and my husband leave the house at 7:30 in the morning. They're out early, and that is me time. And I make a priority to exercise, whether I'm going for a walk with a friend, I'm working out with the trainer, I'm doing yoga or the Peloton. I'm exercising and I'm having that morning for me. That is super grounding for me, I think. What else and doing lymphatic massage, I think, is super grounding. I do that almost every night, whether I'm watching TV or I'm lying in bed. Those are like my two rituals, movement and lymph massage.
I love that. I think that that's so lovely because they're things that you could literally do. I think it's nice to have things that aren't super expensive or aren't a huge lift for people.
That was the point of writing my book, which is to give people free access. Use your hands. You don't need an expensive tool.
What is one food or snack that you could truly never get sick of?
What could I? Probably sushi.
Great.
Probably sushi.
Any specific kind?
The spicy crunch tuna roll, right? Spicy tuna on rice cracker. Give
Love
me that
it.
all day, every day.
I love that for you. Lisa, thank you so much for being here. This was
thanks for
so
having
helpful.
me.
I think this is amazing. I'm going to do some of these things. I knew some of them just from working with you, but not all of them.
Yeah, it's good to do.
Good to
do it
do.
anywhere, anytime, any place.
Thank you.
Thanks for having me.